All right, we are recording our December Red Tent call. So excited to kick this off and to hear what's going on with you ladies. I just got back from a retreat in Nashville, and so I want to share a little bit as we kick off this morning. I want to catch my breath for a second. Man, this baby. Sure, taking a toll on the cardiovascular system. Hang on. Okay, so I invite us all. Tiffany, I know you're making tea, but take a deep breath. And release. Take a deep breath again into your belly. And release. Just let that heart rate come down. Let the shoulders come down. Let the worries come down. This is self-soothing at its finest. Another deep breath. Good. We are meant to be here at this time having this conversation. We are meant to participate in this exchange. Everything that comes up during this conversation is sacredly held, and I want to remind you that anything you have put out there in terms of a want or a desire or a plan is already done. How would it feel to know that what you want is already done? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to force it. You don't have to hit 9 out of 10 stars in order to bring it in. It's already done. And you now get to let and allow for it to come in. Take one final deep breath. And release. Good. I'm going to fix the fuzziness on my camera. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to start this out. I mean, gosh, you guys, it doesn't matter where you are on your journey, especially women like us who are so soulfully and empathically connected to ourselves, to each other, to the universe. I want you to take stock in how often, and you know what, this is a perfect time of the year, right? End of 2019, the beginning of 2020 is coming. And ladies, the energy for 2020 is that of absolute divine feminine rising. You probably have seen, like, on social media or in the space or whatever, even in emails that you're subscribed to, like, saying the old way of business is no longer working. The old way of functionality is no longer working. People are really starting to pick up on this now. Now, honestly, that's straight up pissing some people off, right? That is straight up causing deep levels of unsurety, angst, and turmoil. And the majority of people who are real pissed about the fact that things aren't working the way that they once were are very, very heavily loaded in the masculine and in the patriarchal, linear constraints that we've been doing life and business and all the things in, right? Even including mothering, right? Like, even like the feminine things, we've been doing them in a paternal, patriarchal way. So things are changing. 2020 is absolute divine feminine rising, and that gets to mean different things for all of us. I want to breathe excitement into you. I want to breathe assuredness into you. I want to breathe alignment into you. It's not a coincidence that this program is intended to last it was created to last throughout the end of 2020, right? You all know, like, who knows where we'll go from there, right? Like, because a year feels so long, but it's also so short. Right? Think about the number of years that you've lived already. That's 1 year, right? It seems so minuscule. And to be able to reprogram and retrain and recalibrate a lot of that which we have experienced that no longer serves us over the course of a year, so that the next 70, 50, 100 years look and feel the way we want them to. A year is like a blip in the radar, but we've got some work to do, right? And we get to be present and not rush through the process of a year. We get to be with every single day. So as we step into next year, I have a couple thoughts that I think would be really powerful for you guys to participate with. But do you guys have journals or something that you can write on? Because I think this is going to be brilliant. So let me find the page. Let me find the page. Okay. I have a whole journal that's dedicated to the retreat that I went on, and I just want to make sure we're in the right spot. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to think of the days. I just got the download to do this earlier. Otherwise, I would have had the pulled up and ready for you. Okay. So Amber gave us these questions at the retreat that I just went on. And I want to give them to you guys because I think they're amazing. So number one, how do I want to be? And of course, this can start right now, but like going into 2020, number one, how do I want to be? I would totally recommend writing these down because you can journal on this afterwards. Not who do I want to be, how do I want to be? Number two, what is required of me? In order to be the way I want to be, what is required of me? And number three, what do I get to release? Number one, how do I want to be? Number two, what is required of me? Number three, what do I get to release? And I'm going to give you like a behind the scenes cheat sheet, like a behind the scenes understanding. Number one is your discomfort zone. Number three is your comfort zone. And I want you to think about that. So even if number three, even if your answer to number three is, okay, so what do I get to release? Stress, right? So that's a pretty easy button, especially for this group. So what do I get to release in order to be what I want to be? Stress. Okay. But I want to get really freaking honest here. That's your comfort zone. Stress is your comfort zone. And you might be like, I'm not comfortable when I'm stressed. And I'm here to say, yeah, you are. It sucks, but you know it so well. It's easy to live there. And then it's easy to utilize it against you to perpetuate the cycle of it, right? So your comfort zone is stress. Think about it. You're stressed. Oftentimes you use stress as your excuse. You use that as the tool and the weapon against yourself. And you come across as stress. Like, I'm stressed. So, I wish these stressful things would stop happening to me. I wish I could be less stressed. And as you perpetuate and put energy into that, it creates more stress. Right? Mm-hmm. Number one, how do I want to be? I'm imagining that you want different or you want up-levelment from where you currently are. right? This is a group of women who are intuitively connected and also have really big missions and want to constantly deepen ourselves, which requires for us to do different things and also be in different ways. Because it's not always just about do, action, 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 go, go, go. Sometimes it's about throwing up throwing the hands off the wheel and resting. But even though you crave it, you could be scared of it because it's uncomfortable. So, and I'll share with you. So I went into the weekend knowing that like I have been craving stillness and I have been craving deeper self-connection, and I have been craving like an internal winter season. But as a 3 on the Enneagram and as a generator, I actually have always my whole life associated stillness as death. It feels like death to me to not be doing. It feels like actual death. And so what I had to allow myself to witness and then embody over the course of the last weekend is that stillness is still transformation. It's still growth, right? The trees outside look real dead above the surface, but the leaves and the snow on top of the leaves are helping their roots to regenerate in different ways. I have always been this like making sure the surface is good, like spring, summer, the energy of those two, right? The energy of the birth of an idea and then the energy of the creation of the idea. But then to like let it integrate has felt like dying to me. And of course, the word when you feel dead, you are not transforming because there's nothing to transform, you're dead. And so now I have a deeper level of awareness of like, okay, just because I crave stillness does not mean I'm not transforming. I am. So how do I want to be? What do I get to release? And it's interesting because oftentimes when we get to these places and like the beginning of a bright, shiny new year is such a good time to really look at this, but this could be any time, right? And it's happened for you guys in a number of different iterations, you know, on your average Tuesday, right? And like I know that, but the thing that we crave the most is often the thing that scares us the very most. Why? What do we believe about the craving based on old beliefs? My old beliefs told me I craved stillness, so I craved death. I didn't want to transform anymore. The new belief was I crave stillness because it's from that place of rest and rejuvenation that I'll get to come back with even more depth of knowing my purpose, even more exuberance and connectedness. That's how I want to show up in the world. I don't want to show up as the manic, go, 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 create the things because I never want to stop because I'm afraid of stopping. I don't want to do that. I want to show up as that poised, graceful version of me that's willing to go through the cyclicality, because at the closure of everything is the opening of something else. Sometimes there's a little gap that we just have to let the ideas and the inspiration come, but they will not come from depletion. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I invite you guys, do this exercise. And also have fun with it. Because it's feeling real heavy right now. Have fun with it, right? You get to create your life. You've possibly never felt as connected to that sentence before as you do now. You guys are both, and I'm talking to you both, Kim and Tiffany, who are here specifically, but I know that Jessica, Kelly, whoever sees the replay of this, you're going to get that. You can embody that term with deeper understanding now. You get to create your life. How do you want it to feel? And does the heaviness satisfy an old story? Is that something that you want to bring with you? because we have the choice. Sometimes the choice feels hard, but sometimes it only feels hard because it's easier to be scared. It feels easier to be scared than to make the change. We all know that that's actually not true. In the long run, it's easier to make the change that's going to make you feel the best than it is to stay in that scared place. We're not judging ourselves. We are not shaming ourselves in the process of this. We are, think about yourselves as a new little baby, right? What does that baby want for its life? What do you get to learn and to do and to be and to take in order to create the life that you want to create? Good?
Yeah, it's going to take some thought.
Yeah. When we did this, that we had like, it was a chunk of time. We had like meditation music going on, and we really were able to get in there.
Okay.
But I want to coach. You guys know, like, I love coaching on these calls. I didn't want to take up the call, like having you do this thing and having me sitting here staring at you. But like, this is a really good exercise for you to do, and then for us to vox about afterwards, whether in the group as a whole or with me individually. That doesn't matter. Whatever you feel is going to be the best supportive of you. But I want you to do this. Like, this is your homework. I want you to do this because this is why we're here, right? Like, you know, I am all of y'all biggest cheerleader and like biggest fan. And also, I would be a really shitty coach if I stayed in cheerleader mode and I didn't give you stuff to challenge you. I didn't coach you, right? I'm here to be your coach. I'm not here to be on the sidelines as a cheerleader. Think about a game. Think about a sports game. Coach and cheerleader have two way different jobs out there, right? I'm here to support you. I'm here to encourage you. And I'm here to push you to do the thing that is going to help you step outside that comfort zone, because I only see you in your greatness. And I know you can do it. And for me, it's about giving you the opportunities to collect the data that we talk about a lot, to prove to yourself that you can. Not prove in that wearing the mask and gotta like prove to the world, but like prove to yourself. Know within yourself. So, that being said, okay, take a deep breath. Let's clear the energy of that. Good. How can I support you today? Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. You always count on me.
Go, girl.
You're off the hook, Tiff. So I had one of my nail classes yesterday, and it was basically like me observing, but we didn't get out of there until like 7 o'clock, and then I didn't get home until 7:30, which is usually the time I'm going to bed, and I'm feeling very worn out. And I came home to some grumpy people, which, you know, was not my way of like winding down from the day. So I got a text earlier this morning from my mentor, and she's like, "Can we cancel today? Because I have something that came up." And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
I need the time. So I think definitely that, powers were at work, because I just feel like really kind of just tired, overwhelmed. The lesson was fine last night, but it was not just sitting, reading, working on nails. I had to like really pay attention to what she was doing, and because I was going to do it tonight, but then that got switched.
Yeah.
So, and it was a process that I was not familiar with. I've never done it before, so I'm like, I don't know what to do, and I don't feel really comfortable doing it. So luckily, I know the process now. She's going to drop some of the stuff off at my house on her way home, and I can practice until I see her on Saturday. So then I feel more like, oh, okay, yes, I can do this.
Yeah. What's the metaphor for this in your life right now?
That I'm actually like, I need to slow down a little bit more and take some time to like build in those breaks, because like last thing I want is to get sick
Yeah.
before the holidays. And, I feel like I'm pushing too hard.
Yeah.
So I just kind of need to like back up a little bit, so I can go to bed early tonight. I can take a bath, which I'm going to do, relax a little bit, and do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like so super grateful that the class was canceled tonight, because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh.
It's amazing. On days that like I might feel like, oh my gosh, that's too
Mhm.
many calls, or that's one too many things. Someone always reschedules, like, because the universe knows. And sometimes it's me, right? Rarely do I let myself be that person, unless, like, you guys know, unless like there are kids are around and I literally cannot do anything about that. But like something always works out. Universe always has our back. And so, Kim, I love this. And what I want to speak to, because I know this so well, is your need to allow for integration.
Mhm.
So when we get super excited and feel super connected to things, it's all we want to do. It's all we want to think about, right? It's like
Right.
it's like falling in love, and like you just want to be with that person all the time. But then it's like, oh my gosh, like, but like literally, I'm never by myself, and like there's no space, right? It's like starting a new and it's like preseason almost, right?
Yeah.
Like you're getting back into the sport and you've done all the practices and you're so excited, and then like halfway through the season, you're like, oh my gosh, like I cannot go to practice today, right? Like it feels like a lot, because it becomes part of your norm, which is so exciting, right? We want those up-leveled experiences, and we want those things that we're super excited about to be part of the norm. And cyclicality, it feels really fun to be in that beginning stage at first, like, oh my gosh, like you're so enamored and you're so in love, but like the reason you called it in the first place is because you want it to be a natural, beautiful part of your overall life.
Yeah.
And so when that shift comes, you need to have a shift with the way that you're going about it, the way that you are doing the dance with it. And so you don't have to be in that obsessive, I want to be doing it every second.
Right.
In order to maintain the integrity of the relationship and gain the depth of the relationship. Because like nails and doing this was so freaking exciting. You wanted to learn all the things at the beginning. Yeah. And now you want to have that deeper connection. You want to go deeper with it. So in order to go deeper with it, you got to come off the surface. The surface is that place, right? It's so fun. It's so fun. But you can't be in party mode all the time because you get tired.
Yeah, you'll get worn out.
Yeah. So,
and I'm also wondering if it's like has anything to do with the moon phase. I have not tracked that. It's been something that's kind of like sitting in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I know that some people feel energized when it comes around to being a full moon, but I don't know how I feel. And it's been one of those things like, oh, I should probably track that.
Yeah, no. So we're in the gibbous moon phase right now. We're in the gibbous moon. I'm trying to think.
Don't we have a full moon on the 12th?
Yeah, the full moon is coming on the 12th. The gibbous moon phase is the inward time before the outward time of the full moon. So it goes every other. So it goes new moon, crescent moon, first quarter, gibbous, full moon. Right. So like it's the yin and the yang. Right. So the yin is that eek time. The yang is the time, right? Like that, like come back in, get a little bit quieter. And the reason why I'm obsessed with the moon cycle is because, especially for us, looking at the two of you right now, we get really good at being programmed of like, go, 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 go. Everything is yin, 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 until it's like, I might die because you're not taking care of yourself, because you're not giving yourself that inward time. So it's beautiful that you even just asked that question, because you already have that feeling of like, energetically, I'm feeling like I need to get a little bit quieter with this. Right. And so for me, it's like, how can you incorporate a little integration time in between when you're learning and when you're doing? Right? Like go to the class that you learn and then allow yourself to rejuvenate so that you can go to the class that you do. And for me, I'm like, oh, It actually feels so delicious to think about you like just sitting in front of your Christmas tree with like a glass of water and like some nice music in the background, just painting in silence, right? And having it more
Hmm.
of that meditative
Yeah.
part of it as opposed to the I gotta learn and then I gotta apply, right? Like have
Right.
it be like I want you to be able to enjoy that practice time as much as you're learning the go, go, go of the
Yeah.
learn and then perform, learn and then perform.
Hmm. Yeah.
How does that feel?
That feels really good.
Where else in your
That's,
life are you feeling like you need a little bit of integrative time from the doing the things that are going on?
um, that's really just it, because like Christmas is under control, everything's planned out, school is under control. I've got that, lesson plans and whatnot taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's really it. That's kind of like, I'm excited about it, but it's kind of thrown this wrench into my works, It's like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, so these nights are going to be kind of late, and I might be a little tired, and maybe I need to just, take a few days and chill and not push so hard
Totally.
to try and do it in record speed.
Yeah. And
There's no deadline
no,
of
right.
when I have to be done.
Exactly, right. And the other thing too is on the other side, when you're feeling good and when you're feeling like you're in that go, go, go mode, which happens naturally, right? I know when we're in like that yang phase, we can't imagine like being super excited to be doing all the things. But I want you to remember, sometimes we talk ourselves into worry based on maybe the past or maybe what other people say. So I know that sometimes I'm like, I better not push too hard right now because I don't want to overtire myself. But I'm in a phase that feels really good to go a little bit faster. And so sometimes I hinder myself on the other side when I'm like, no, I actually could chug through a lot of this and it feels good to chug through. Chugging through and forcing through are different. So in the times that you're feeling high energy, you're feeling good, don't tell yourself that the other shoe is going to drop and like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get sick. You'll know. And intuitively, you're already feeling like, I got to just pull back a little bit because I am at that breaking point. But there's other times that you're not there. And it just feels good to be creating. So go for it then.
Okay. Yeah. I think I can tell the difference between that, where it's like, okay, I need to like go inward and be quiet and like rest because I need to take care of me. I crave more water. I crave more sleep. I, kind of retreat into my little cave and be quiet more.
I'm reading this really awesome book right now called Intuitive Being by Jill Willard. It's really awesome. It goes through each of the chakras and talks about how intuition can be harnessed when that chakra is in its greatest moment of alignment. Hey, did I say that to you on my Vox 2 yesterday? Because I meant to. So this is for both of you. And it's interesting because when things are mucked up in a particular chakra, it inhibits intuition in the whole of you, right? So even things like I love that you just said like when I'm craving more water and stuff like that, doing things like that to bring in more elements to yourself and also to root in and grounding, because oftentimes we think of intuition as like the third eye, right? Or receiving the crown. But if your root is not feeling stable, if you're not feeling safe and secure, that's inhibiting intuition as well. So things like water, even mineralized water too, if you're feeling real shaky, mineralized water will actually help clear your root chakra and support you in feeling more grounded because it's literally bringing in elements and minerals from the earth, which is all about the root. So I think especially right now, like it's feeling really good to talk about going into the holidays and everything like that. Like our root, when our root is solid, we feel safe and secure to allow in other opportunities and to do the dance and have the fun with the other opportunities. So mineralized water and then eating foods that are red and orange, right? And root vegetables strawberries, pomegranates, cranberries, sweet potatoes, radishes, all those types of foods, carrots, are going to help you to feel more connected to the earth, more secure in who you are and what you want to do. Epsom salt
cool.
baths, same thing.
Yeah. That's on tonight's list.
Yeah.
Things to do.
Kim, just think about too, like the essential oils that you could utilize, right? Like frankincense, wild orange. You have holiday joy that you could.
No, when I smelled it, I just really didn't like the smell of it. So I'm like,
cinnamon, clove,
yeah.
those types of like Christmassy smells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think if there's any that pop out. Vetiver, right?
I love that one.
Deeply grounding one. Yeah.
Right.
So myrrh, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be really supportive of you right now, and just sinking back into your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just realized that I haven't done my Kundalini Kriya yet. I usually do that first thing in the morning, and I was just so like, this morning I haven't done it. And even then I'll sit down and like when I get to school, I'll do it because it only takes me like 10 minutes max. So I still have to do that.
Yeah, perfect. So now like that's another thing to ground you back into yourself.
And
also awesome that you didn't do it this morning, because now you remember it and now you're making the conscious thought, not out of, oh my gosh, I have to do it, otherwise I'll fail the 40-day challenge. But like, no, that actually is a thing to help me get back into my body and root back down. So when you sit to do it later, I want you to literally visualize roots coming from your bottom into the floor, into the ground, like really connecting in. Okay.
All right.
I think that's going to be really, really helpful for you. Good job. Really, really, really good work.
Thanks.
Yay. All right, Tiff, you're up, girl. We're feeling you too. So what's coming through?
All right. So the past couple of weeks have been a lot. I've just been having like more physical anxiety symptoms, which we've talked about. And I had a really great, like what felt like in the moment and in the short period of time afterwards, like a pretty like valuable, honest, vulnerable conversation with my boss.
Yeah.
Just sort of about like where I was and how I was feeling. And it was really validating and like caring. I don't want to say like loving and professional, but like kind of, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Kind, and encouraging. It was like almost as good as the conversation could have gone. It's so funny. So as I look around, I'm seeing like where Maggie has put random Christmas decorations that I like hadn't noticed before. Like, I don't know how she reached the mantle.
Oh, girl.
Little person.
Okay, quick story.
Conversation about that.
Well, the other day, Michael was like, we've got cabinets that we keep most of the food in, of course. And then you guys are in my house. So like next to my fridge, there's another like lower level set of cabinets. And Michael's in like a weird, like clearing phase. Normally I'm like the cleanser and he's the bringer-inner. So, but he's like wanting to clear, and he was like, I kind of feel like we should put some snacks down there because like then the boys can access them more easily. I was like, you do know that they just climb on the counter all day, every day. And so for me, I'm like that's totally normal. But then I'm like, oh, safety wise though, you may be onto something. So I'm just like,
fireplace. I don't know. So funny. So we had this great conversation, and Friday, I also had like a couple of really like bigger things going on last week. I was presenting at a conference. I had like a big meeting with the client, and like it all went really well. And Friday, woke up, for the first time, woke up not kind of like in a state of panic. And had a great day, like had a very restful weekend. And of course, like Monday morning rolls around and the like anxiety flare up again. And like this morning again. So over the weekend, I was like looking at my calendar and I was like, man, I should like try to see my therapist this week instead of waiting for next week. And so I had an appointment this morning at 9:00. So I went in to see her.
Cool.
And like, I think it's clear that the stress is like related to work. And like, Jillian, you had said to me like, okay, so if you visualize yourself in other professional scenarios, right? Like, do you take the panic attack? Like, do you take the anxiety with you or do you leave it behind?
Right.
And I think I take it with me. Like, I think I said this, so some of the Vox I sent you, I'm repeating myself, but like, I think I'm right now in a job that feeds into like that, the way that I am, in a way that some other jobs might not. But it's not like the job that's, you know what I mean? It's more like the job contributes to my sort of like natural, like default.
Yeah.
So my therapist, I texted her because I was like, what exactly did you say? Changing your belief system, right? So this like narrative that I have that I like haven't done enough, I'm not working enough hours, I have a mile-long to-do list, why didn't you do that? And then when you were talking about like stress is easy, right? So like even when I like make myself relax, I then like am stressed out by the fact, like it's just like a feedback loop. Like I just kind of like subconsciously am looking for the places to be the things to be stressed about. So like I'm stressing about things that haven't, like, I mean, I've actually been like worried about losing my job, which is such a crazy, like it's really an out there concern.
Yeah.
Like it just is.
Yeah.
Like my boss is like only confidant on the team. Like it's not, I would have to really royally fuck something up.
Yeah.
So for me to be like having those thoughts is like really not, it's like pretty dysfunctional thinking. So I kind of feel better even just like talking about it. Yeah. I've also had like a headache since Saturday night. Mm-hmm. That's just like, I'm a little freaked out by it. So I'm going to the doctor this afternoon.
Okay.
And my therapist was like, I'm sure it's a tension headache. Like, I know that you got it on the weekend, but like you went through you had like kind of a week.
Yeah.
So your body is not gonna like she was like, it would be nice if your body recognized weekends versus weekdays.
Yeah.
Or like that like Friday night cutoff, but like that's probably not.
No, yeah. Okay, so so many good things. So first of all, yay for calling in the support that you need, right? Like yay for showing up on the call, yay for going to the therapist, yay for going to a doctor. Okay, in terms of energy, Jessica and I were having this conversation. In terms of energy, so we kind of like the week and the weekend type thing, right? Like when we start doing the work on ourselves, we like want instantaneously nothing bad to show up ever. And what we forget is manifestation takes time, even if it's for the not so good stuff. So there are times that like I'm feeling so good and like out of the blue, so like some shitstorm will come and I'll be like, where in the hell did that come from? I've been feeling really good. Like what on earth? And oftentimes it's residual manifestation from past beliefs. Feel that, because that's in direct alignment with what your therapist said is rewiring the belief system, right? So when we have the things that manifest that we're like, what in the actual about? It's because somewhere in our past, we called it in. Maybe not the immediate past. And also, it's not a punishment. And it doesn't mean that you were doing something wrong then. It's just what is manifestation? It's physical proof of energetic belief. Write that down. Manifestation is physical proof of energetic belief. And Tiff, if you've spent the majority of your life, never mind just your adult life, but your life believing that the shit's going to hit the fan, that you've got to work harder, that you got to strive more, that you need to work more hours, then like it's going to manifest in tension headaches, especially when you're feeling better, because it's in the moments that you're feeling better that you can re-feel the pain, that you can be reminded of the pain. And it's in the moments that you're feeling better that your ego is like, what in the hell? Like, no, girl, we have a belief system here that things are supposed to suck, right? So it's like the easy target for our ego, unfortunately. Now, I also want you to give credit where credit is due. That's not happening as often as it did even at the beginning of the work that we've been doing with each other, which is the internal work that you've been gifting to yourself. So you have been doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And it already has provided some level of remedy. Are you cured? No. Am I cured? No, right? Like there's constant work to be done, but it's getting easier and it's happening less frequently. Now, where your attention goes, energy flows. So you're really focused on the physical anxiety that you're feeling lately, right? Even last week you were feeling it. Even at the Red Tent retreat, you were feeling it.
Yeah.
And so the more often we give life to things, now, you know that we've got to talk some things through, right? And we've released through talking. And even like you were just saying, like, I feel better actually even saying this. There are times that talking about the thing really helps. And then there are times that giving attention to the thing is only going to add fuel to the negative fire.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so your job now is discerning, like, I got to talk about this because like that's what's going to help me to release this right now.
Yep.
And I see you, fear, trying to come up again. And you're just trying to do that thing. You just want me to think about you constantly. I don't want to. That's not serving me right now. I'd be better served to take a nap. I'd be better served to go for a run. So it's that discernment. And in that discernment, you start rewiring the belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel the difference between that? Because it's basically saying sometimes we talk about it, sometimes we don't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the feeling that's associated with it. Did I tell you guys? I think I'm not sure if I did. Michael and I were doing some Christmas shopping online one night, and it was like we were like doing it for a while. And like after it was all done, like he went upstairs, and all of a sudden, lack and money fears came up in me, and I was like, "What in the actual?" And so I was like, "Okay, I'm feeling this way." Part of me wanted to do the patterning of going and running to Michael and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm not making enough money and we don't have this and we don't have, and like, that's the patterning. That's what I've done in the past. And then I was like, no, that would add fuel to this fire. This is just knee-jerk reaction of me being really tired and us spending 3 hours spending money.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has nothing to do with money. I'm just tired. And we've done an exercise that we don't typically do. Yeah. I'm not going to go share this worry with Michael because it's only going to cause him stress and it's only going to add fuel to the lack fire.
Mm-hmm.
So that was discernment of like, I'm not giving this attention and energy right now. It doesn't need it. It needs for me to go to bed.
Yeah.
Can you feel that?
Yeah.
So then let me ask you, do you want a new job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. Awesome. I know. Also, December 10th, 2019. We've been talking about that since August, right? And you finally answered it. And that's okay. There's no rush, but like, yay, think about the transformation because we're out of the wobble of like, I don't know. I've lived most of my life in the I don't know place, right? That very like manic, like high vibe, like feeling like you're being electrocuted. To now like, oh yeah, I do want a new job. But here are the requirements I have of myself. I can't fill the new space with the old stress.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do. When I left my job at the hospital to do Beachbody full time, guess what I did? I found every single excuse to be stressed and to carry the energy from the hospital functionality into a business that was completely different. So you have awareness of that now, right?
Yeah.
Some of it will come and you'll get to release it in the next iteration of you. But some of it with discernment, you can say, you're not coming. I'm going. You're not allowed to pack a bag. You're staying in that role. I'm tucking you in that office and I'm leaving you there.
Yep.
Right. And so that gets to be part of our process. That gets to be part of like the focus, right? Again, where our attention goes, energy flows. So if we are focusing on, I don't want to take this stress with me, guess what's going to happen? You're going to take the stress with you.
Yeah.
If we're focusing on, you know what, I'm going, and it's going to feel really graceful and it's going to feel really beautiful. And I'm grateful for what I've learned. And some stress is going to try to come along. Some stress is going to come anew, but I don't have to engage with it in the way that I did in this role.
Yep.
Because you're not just leaving a job, you're leaving a belief system.
Yep.
You're leaving a functionality.
Yep.
So we've done a lot of work of like, what do you love about your role? What don't you love about your role? What type of job do you want to call in? And it's really good on a specificity level to call that in. But what I also want you to call in is the deeper feelings you want to feel. Freedom, right? Spaciousness. So I want you to, I know you already have started your job description list of the things that you require, like the job requirements list. I want you to think of the job emotion list or the job feeling list.
Yep.
Because if we focus on calling in a job that doesn't have as much stress, we're still focusing on the negative of it.
Right.
So focusing on calling in a job that feels really free, that's way different energy.
Yep.
How do you feel? You feel clearer to me just by that, like, oh, okay. How does it feel within you?
Yeah. Yeah, good.
Good. And if
A little
it's
scary.
yeah. Are you
Does it feel a little scary?
It's hard to like just visualize what it looks like. Because it is like it just is like so safe, right?
Yeah. So apply the exercise apply the exercise that I gave at the beginning to life in general, but then do a specific one for a job.
Yeah.
How do I want to be?
So like the hold on, let me just write that down.
Yeah. So
like the thing that is like pretty great about this, right, is like nothing's horrible. You know what I mean? Like even like the chest pain, the freaking headaches, and like all this other shit. It's like nothing's horrible, and in fact, things are pretty good. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot of like, you know, since I sort of let go and sort of said like whatever. If I'm working with a religious client right now, so I can say like if it's God's will that
right
keeps going, fine. But like I'm done with the crazy shit that I did in the spring when I was trying to get this phase going, you know, like we're entering the second phase. So, and I'm just like done. And it's like, clearly the universe wants at least this to happen. You know what I mean? Like at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know what my role, you know what I mean? Like maybe my role isn't to take them through the whole thing, or maybe it is, you know what I mean? Like maybe this is supposed to be something, but nothing's horrible. Like I don't have to escape from this. Right.
Nothing's horrible, and you don't have to settle for mediocrity.
Right.
You can build upon like, okay, it's okay. Right? It's okay for it to be okay. In our world that we're living in, some people would die for okay.
Right.
Right? Which doesn't mean that you're better or worse than they are. It doesn't mean, you know, like we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but like some people would pay for your problems, right? Like that whole thing. And you are worthy of brilliance. You are worthy of extravagance. You are worthy of extraordinary. So awesome. You don't have a job that totally sucks right now. And you are worthy of a job that makes you feel extraordinary.
Yeah, so when I was in Ohio, I guess 2 weeks ago now, I was telling my friend Emily about the conversation we had about the house, because like I'd sort of been talking to her about this, but I hadn't given her like a full download of all the work we'd done. And I told her about the conversation that we had where you were like, where I was like, I don't know, I feel like my house is like fancy and I'm not fancy. And you were like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you want to be fancy? And she was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
If
yeah.
you have lived a life, and this is a bold comment, you have lived a life where your main priority was to appease and perform, but you wanted to make sure that you did it at a lower level to prove that you weren't better than. And that you weren't filling up the space that is the friggin' I'm going to use that word extraordinary again. Extraordinary you, right? And so now it's like you get to live a life for you, and you get to be extravagant in it.
Yeah.
Honey, it's time for you to take up space. You don't have to sell your soul and sacrifice yourself at the same time. You don't have to sell your soul for other people's benefit and play small at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You've been willing to play big for other people.
Yeah.
It's time that we play big for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're worthy of.
Right. Like Emily's the one who said, like, you can't light yourself on fire to keep the bishop warm, right? But like, what about lighting myself on fire to keep me warm, right?
You don't have to do that. You just literally have to look at it and say, oh, I'm like literally, I've been focusing on my toe. I've been thinking that my toe is representative of me. So I'm trying to light that sucker on fire. When like I could really just stand in the brilliance and presence, and I don't need to light myself on fire. When I stand in the wholeness of who I am, I'm right next to the sun.
Right.
I'm warm. Whoa.
And you know what this also does is like I've been doing this thing where I've been like, well, if I end up staying, I want to like be setting things up at my current job for like if I stay. And like that's hard. And that like actually does keep me from prioritizing myself. Like, no, I don't need to take on the extra responsibility of this or the extra thing of that or like the this or the whatever. Like I don't know. Cause like unless it's somehow gonna serve me in my next job. But if it's purely just like to perform for Brian or John or like whomever, no, it doesn't serve me.
And also it doesn't mean that you're doing a bad job. And doesn't mean that you're being less than. But you don't have to overcompensate anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ladies, I got a boogie off.
Yeah. Holy moly.
I got kiddos coming.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Thank you.
Love you all.
Love you.
Bye.
All right, Tiff. So distilled water and mineralized water for you too. I think headache-wise, that would be really powerful.
Yeah.
And also, like, I want you to think, like, are you taking in too much caffeine? Are you taking in too much sugar? Like, can you really start to fuel yourself with nutrient-dense stuff?
Yeah.
With the sweet potatoes, with really healthy protein, right?
Yeah.
Like, and getting in there and really kind of refueling from that safety place.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be really powerful for you.
Yeah. And I have like just this week been doing less caffeine.
Good. because your body already intuitively knows, right? Like you already know. I didn't have to tell you that, but it's kind of cool that I'm like, hey, wait, less caffeine. You're like, oh yeah, I'm already doing that. Cool.
Yeah.
Right? So awesome. What time is your doctor's appointment?
3:10.
Oh, good. Okay. If you can, do some deep breathing exercises right now just to,
Yeah.
welcome in the next thing that's on the to-do list today, and then box me after the doctor's appointment and let me know what's up.
Okay, will do.
All right.
Thank you.
Amazing job. You are incredible. Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye.